Dear religious leaders from all religions, the Pope and everyone else. My name is Goiana Ferreira. I live here in Florida, United States. I'm a mother and a teacher, a person that God asked me to renew life of our planet Earth. I'm also the International Director of the Clean Water and Peace Organization. I have a very good and important proposal for all of you, for all countries of this planet Earth. For us to be better, for us to be more united, my friends, come and join me. Instead of people following different religions, doing different practices in so many countries and so many different religions in all continents, I invite you to have one religion for everyone. A very simple and easy religion, but for everyone to be the same. Have the same practices, have the same rules and guidelines. The religion of peace and love. Our work will be focused on outside gardens, outside practices, right? And everyone will have only one God and nature to honor, to work with, to be with, and to have guidance from, and to celebrate. We will have the 4 seasonal festivals a year with dances, songs, very simple things, but very beautiful, very special for everyone the same. We will have new songs for all countries, all continents to be singing together and hold hands with all races and all different ethnicities to be singing together, have presentations together, hold hands and work for peace and love for families and for this planet Earth. That is the religion of peace and love. Some songs are ready online at our YouTube channel, and soon we are going to have our website. So please check it out. We also have many videos that it's from these 10 departments that we are making for all of you to have an idea about our work. In a few words, those 10 departments will have the peace schools, right? From preschools, schools, adult education and universities to have this program, the peace schools. Is the peace curriculum that everyone gonna celebrate God and have only good and positive practices. We also have this work to don't have anything negative, no drugs, no cigarettes, tobacco, nicotine, alcoholic drinks, and also no vaping, no cigarettes, no opioids, because those things are really not good for any country, anywhere. Pharmacies, synthetic medication will only be provided for what we really need, because everyone gonna be really healthy and no one gonna be addictive to any narcotic of any type, any opioids of any type. And also no wine distributed during a religious spiritual meeting. We will have water, plain water, for people to drink when they need. But during our meetings, our spiritual meetings, we're going to sing, celebrate, smile, and talk about good and positive subjects, things for us to evolve spiritually. We're also going to pray for the animals, for many different types of animals to be extinct and already born in better animals, for them to also evolve spiritually. None of us will eat red meat. We can only eat eggs and chickens from our own gardens, some ducks or even wild turkeys, but at our own properties, not to be sent far away to other countries. Our work is to have families, all families from this planet Earth, to have clean water and water all year round, to have food, organic gardens planted at our own properties, at our own gardens, for us to have this peace education that I just mentioned you, for all countries the same. So adults, young adults, and even high school students don't have to move to another city, even another country to have a good education. We will have families united. Every family will also own their own house, and that will be a gift for our humanity. People that have many of them will share, and everyone will have only one residential house, one address. And all businesses of all types who will own them will be the 10 department directors for them. For now, we will have 10 years of this work, being the same exact department directors for each location, for each property. Every residential community will have these 10 director couples, every educational site the same, every city office the same, and every business property the same. Those 10 department director couples we are choosing, our organization is choosing for these first 10 years. And after that, the ones that will win will be the ones that have most peace points placed at the Peace app. Those that have the most positive practices, positive and sustainable practices in their lives. And not those that have more power over others. That it's over. We don't need that anymore. Or because they paid very low salaries to their staff members, or because some of them did achieve in a positive way, being honest with all their practices. We are also not going to have people using synthetic chemicals in gardens, in anywhere, because we celebrate, we honor and respect our planet Earth. So, with all my kindness and respect, my friends, I ask you to resign from your position. Please write a proper document, have 4 originals to do that, and have it ready. You need at least 8 testimony people to sign this document. And people that already work for you or people that are nearby, co-workers. Other religious leaders and also disciples from your religion. Those 4 originals signed by 8 different people, you please have different originals given to these following people. 1 document you're going to keep to yourself. 1 will be given to the city office of your city. And 1 will be given to the department directors that will be in charge on that property, will start their work on that property, being residential community or business site. And the 4th original will be given to the capital of your country, to the city office where all important documents will be kept. My work is to bring peace on earth and have families united with better practices for everyone with our International Constitution book, for all countries to be the same, with detailed information about our rules and guidelines for everyone, for business owners, for government leaders, for families and communities. for us to work united, hold hands, and have a better humanity. So, my friends, let's get united. All of us, all the religions of the whole planet, let's get united and work with the Clean Water and Peace Organization. So please already go ahead and resign from your position. Have these 8 signatures I told you about. So you have 24 hours to do this letter and have these signatures from people from your own religion, the leaders, the highest leaders that you have nearby. Do not need to be people from other states, but from the area you are at. And you have 24 hours also to tell all disciples that you are not going to have any religious activity there anymore. It can be by email, the ones you cannot reach you can call. You have to find your way, whichever you use, telephone messages, whichever you use to talk to them. And you have 48 hours to have a special meeting, and I'm going to tell you about afterwards. It's for a renovation program, for your church renovation program. I'll tell you soon at this same video. The objective is to use the property of your church to the most important site that's needed on that area. Can be a school, university, adult education, a preschool, whichever is the most important, or residential homes for those in need. That can be families from your own country and also families from refugee camps, shanty homes, nomads, indigenous people, gypsies, people that do not have clean water, right, or do not have water at all in the location they are, and all the families in cold regions, families that will be selected by the organization that they need to move. Every church of all types in all countries will be already have renovation plan for them. The organization volunteers will already tell what each place needs to be. So they have to close down properly, say farewell properly to their disciples, and then have a closing meeting, and then you have to resign. Every leader have to resign, and all the disciples need to have a letter of resignation, asking permission to leave. Everyone that were attending a church. If they were practicing only at home, they do not have to do that. But everyone that were going to church buildings, church properties of any type, or doing their activities in a church nature site, they have to do that. In writing, they need to do that. So the secretary of that church needs to have write this letter to everyone. The secretary needs to include the last day of that church activity. And for all disciples will be the same letter, and for all church leaders will be the same letter. The last day they have activity for everyone. Okay, so they will have this day up to 48 hours to have this meeting, right? People that can, they will come. People that live really far away, they don't have to come. But the letter needs to be sent to everyone. For everyone that use an email will be sent. To other people can be given by hand and also or sent by regular mail. But everyone that were actually attending, needs to have that letter. For people that were not attending for these last 8 months, They do not need a ladder. Okay, so let's put a frame 8 months. I think that's good. I really appreciate your attention. But they need a notice in case, because some people, they were out for 8 months. Maybe they were out of the city. Maybe they just didn't want to go. But for them to don't come back, they need to receive information somehow. That can be an email, a phone call. For the others that were, attending for the last year or so, I think that's reasonable for them to already know that place is closed. So we won't have alcoholic drinks as used, the wine is used in any church, anywhere in any country. We also are not going to have ayahuasca, peyote, San Pedro, none of these things. They are not needed, not sustainable, not positive for anyone. We don't need those things. We can evolve spiritually following our rules and guidelines, our handbooks of our 10 departments. And we can also don't be praying the whole day. We have to work, we have to study, we have to do other things in life. We are not going to have any sacred tea, sacred herb, or have any alcoholic drink as sacred. All these are evil practices. They are not good, not positive, and we are not going to have them. In the same way, of course, that we are not going to have any opioids or anything else that is hallucinogenic for people to be praying or meditating on it. Those are not good or positive practices. So now I'm going to say a few words why I did not choose one of the existing main religions on the planet. So we have more than 2 billion people that are Christians, right? In different lines. Because I could choose, like I chose one of the languages we have, right? The English, for a reason. But I'm not going to choose any of those main existing religions. And I'm going to explain you why is that decision in a few words. I will have more details at the handbooks, when the handbooks are ready. Because it's important, the 28 weeks handbook. Because it's important for people to know why we are doing things, how we are doing things. For them to understand and agree with us. Because the main thing is not me, you, or our family, our friends, our beliefs, our culture. No, it is what's the most positive and sustainable for the entire humanity, for all countries, for all races, for all ethnicities. And we cannot have diversion anymore. For our humanity to be united, we need to be one. One, all families of this planet Earth working together, working united, working for peace and love on our planet. Working for peace and love in our own practices. Without thinking about barriers or my religion is better than yours, my beliefs are better than yours, my culture is better than yours. No, we cannot have those things anymore. So I'm going to explain why, one by one. So here I took the main ones. Number 1 is Christianity. Number 2 is Judaism. Number 3, the Islam. Number 4, Hinduism. And number 5, the Buddhism. So those are the ones that I'm going to say a few words why we are not choosing any of those. Okay, number 1, Christianity, that are based on their book called a Bible. So Jesus created Christianity, right? Actually, his disciples are said that wrote about and Jesus' story and wrote the Bible. Anyways, The first thing that Jesus is not a very good example for us because he was not married, he did not have children, and he did not have a family. And now we know that for our humanity to be really good, we need to have a family, proper husband, a wife, and children, and live united. We know that, and not people living by themselves randomly in different places. No, so we need to have that. It's important for us to be united, for us to practice peace and love, for us to evolve spiritually, for us to have God guiding us, for us to have good health, spiritual, emotional, physical, and mental health. We need a structure of a family. So that we already know. For sure we know that. So that's why one of the things. The other thing is that today we have too many different lines of Christianity, too many diversion from the previous one, and too many different structures that are set up nowadays. And this is not good. We have too many religions, different religions, also using Christianity as having Jesus as their main leader. And this is not good because it's not united. People are not working united. So we can't work like that. The other thing is that we have some churches that they have some songs, they have their teachings, right? And many people, they go on to church on Sunday and they want to show off their clothes, they want to go to different clothes. They already set up the clothes for the month or 2 months ahead. They purchase new clothes to go to church. So we don't need those things to be more inspired by God or to be grateful to God or to have families more united. We don't need those practices. Some people even put makeup, or lots of makeup and earrings and jewelry. Even sometimes they're even expensive, so we don't need those practices. Some other Christian religions, they teach and they convince their disciples that they can purchase a place in heaven. My friends, we cannot do that. No one can do that. But they get people that do not have proper knowledge, and they convince them. Some other church leaders, as we know in some countries, they make people to lose everything they have. They even give their house to the church. They give their salaries to their church. Some people have almost nothing and they still give a lot to the church. Their church is beautiful in big avenues, right? A big building, beautiful. And their disciples still think it's great. And they live in a tiny house, not even room for everyone to live. So this is not peace and love, my friends. This is not about sharing. Even that Jesus taught many great things. This is those practices done nowadays only 2,000 years ago. They're not good. They're not positive. They're not sustainable for us. So Jesus said, love God above all and your brothers as yourself, right? And Christians are not doing that. They even created other religions. People in some countries, they go make a license and start a new religion talking about him, but not practicing what he taught. So we cannot have Christianity as our religion. Also, we have the Vatican. That is not positive, not good. Vatican has gold and precious stones from other countries. They have all these rich items, very expensive items brought from other countries. For what reason? For the popes to wear and their bishops and for them to have a lot of gold in those churches all over the world. For what reason? God is not on objects. God is not on pieces of gold. God and nature not in crosses built or big steeples or huge churches. That's not the right way for us to think that God is on those practices. Or drink wine that we know it's an alcoholic drink. We cannot do those things. So we don't need popes. We don't need bishops. We don't need any of those practices. Our practice will be based on the 10 department directors. And we are going to practice our religions at our gardens, right? At our gardens, having our edible gardens, looking blue sky, having the sun shining, the fresh wind. That's how we are going to do. So the other thing is that we have way too many people working and leading churches, and they're men, for example, right? And we have too many cases of pedophilia in too many different countries. We cannot have that. This is not good, not positive. It's one of the worst things that Christianity got, because they're not working with families. We need proper couples, a man and a woman, as they came to earth from birth. That's what we need. Okay? I'm not even saying more words about that, because that's one of the most negative that we have in history for religious practices. We cannot have nuns, thousands of nuns, saying they're married to Jesus. This is not right. Jesus was born 2,000 years ago, right? How we can have thousands of nuns saying they have a commitment to Jesus, they were married to Jesus? This is all wrong. The other wrong thing is, for many religions, but for the Christianity for sure, it's putting words that Jesus said, but in reality he did not say. It's not on the previous Bibles, the old scriptures we have, and religions and church leaders is still saying, oh, I talked to this leader, I talked to Jesus, I received messages from Jesus, I received messages from Mary. Oh, this is wrong, my friends. Oh, this is wrong. Okay? This is really not right, not positive. That's why in our International Constitution book, we are going to have everything with proper details. What's authorized, what we are going to do, and what is forbidden. So to avoid any problems, because our International Constitution is for hundreds and millions of years. It's not just for 2,000 years or 1,000 years. It's for millions of years, for us to really evolve spiritually with proper rules and guidelines. The other thing that, different diversions of Christians did is different Bibles. We have different Bibles. We have the short version, the big version. To have one for children, that's one thing. You're just teaching them the basics, and then, for them to grow, they can have some for older children. It's all right. And then slowly to grow. But the adult real Bible is not even the same anymore. And we are going to have one. All the adults, we're going to have one. It's okay to have some books until the 14th grade, right? Telling a few things, different things from our International Constitution book, royal book. But not for adults. All the adults, you're not going to have one. That's our main international handbooks with all details. And children will be learning them along the years according to their age. So that's why Christianity is not our chosen. The other thing is that they keep focus. Some of them keep focused. Jesus in a cross, Jesus in a cross, Jesus in a cross, Jesus in a cross. This is not right, my friends. And sins, you have seen, you have seen, you have seen. If we're going to focus on negative things, we are never going to evolve spiritually. We have to think as God alive, guiding us each day with our practice, with this book that we are creating. Okay? And we cannot focus negative things. And many people didn't learn the most basic of Christianity. The most basic, what it is. Love God above all and your brothers as yourself. So we're still on that. Learning how to share. Learning how to share things we have. Learning how to be friends with each other. Learn how to respect each other. Learn how to love and respect different races. Okay? All right. So let's talk about Judaism. That's the number 2. Why that one is not the chosen one? Okay, the first thing is that some Jewish people do not believe in God. That's one of the most negative things ever. And I met people like that. They think they have the power in themselves. We do have spirits ourselves, but God is the superior force. God and nature that created this planet, right? We cannot create a planet. We cannot make big trees, the power of big trees growing from tiny seeds. Who can make that? It's God and nature. So that's a very wrong thought that many Jewish have. So they say they have one God that reveals self to Abraham and Moses, right? And they have Hebrew prophets. But we don't need some of their practices, such as praying to a wall. For 2,000 years, people have been praying to a wall, and often in tears. This is not positive, my friends. We also don't need to be carrying the books around when we have our meetings, because we already know our guidelines, or show very old scriptures. So we're going to have a proper book, study on our educational sites, and have available for people, right? This one book. And the other book is about the 28 weeks. How we are going to renew everything and get united and remodel what is needed and talk to people and guide people for everything. Okay? The other thing is that many Jewish do know how to share, but some do not. They keep. If they have more money, they have whatever it is, kindness, some really know how to share, but some did not learn as well. The number 3, let's say a few words about the Islam. Why is not the chosen one? So they have the Quran as their main book, their main holy book. So they believe that Muhammad is the messenger of God, a prophet, brought teachings from Adam, Abraham, Moses, Jews and other prophets. But he believed to be the final prophet of God, and that's not right. We know that many other people came on earth and is still telling about God, is still trying to unite people, is still trying to have peace and love in our planet. We have something very good that not everyone, but many diversions of the Islam do not have alcoholic drinks, right? If they're really practicing, that's good. But also they are letting many countries have tourist places such as hotels and restaurants for tourists that sells alcoholic drink. So we know that's wrong. That's not good. How many millions of families of people were destroyed because of alcoholic drinks? People drink and do bad things, hurt their own family, hurt bad their own family, sleep away from home, right? So those things are not good. Also, we are not praying around a black building. This is not right. God is alive. God is not on bricks. God is not on walls, such as for the Judaism, is not on walls. Walls are walls. God is God. God is alive, right? So we are not praying around any black building. And we do not have men wearing dresses. So the right, that's already decided. Women will wear dresses. Men will wear pants. Women can wear pants as well because some days are cold, right? We know that. Some countries, in many countries we have winter. So everyone can wear pants. That's reasonable. And woman will be the one that wears dresses. The other wrong belief is that for women to be trustful or to be special, right? Their wives need to cover their whole body and even their faces and leave just the eyes out, like for many of them. This is a wrong belief, a very wrong belief. Or have a woman that's all dressed in black. My friends, black is the lack of colors. Black is the lack of life. If we see nature, when nature is black most of the time, when something was burned all over, right? So black is not a color for us. That's a wrong belief. The woman, we need to see their faces the same as men. We need to see who is each person. They need identity. They will also lead countries. Yes. So we're going to have 5 years men leading, 5 years the woman leading. They will lead countries. They will be presidents as well. They will be state governors as well. Yes. They will be city mayors. They will be county mayors. We need that. Because we're all one, my friends. We are all one. We all need to express ourselves. All of us need to talk to other people. So no one will be getting crazy, right? It's very important. That's a normal practices. We are not keeping women at the house. This is wrong. Women need to study. Yes, from children, every boy and every girl. They are infants. After 6 months old, up to 6 months, parents can stay at home with them. After that time, they go to preschools. Yes, so they can have that time. And the moms will study. They have to study. It's important for them. Woman is special in the same way as men, and we need each other to have families united and have proper children, okay? To build a family. No one will be treated as objects, so the man come and make the woman pregnant, have babies, and is always out. We have to stop that belief. They are special as the man is special too. Okay, so that's very important. Treat them with respect, with kindness, and be happy when a girl is born. Be happy when a woman, will be free, will have their hair blowing in the wind. Feel their faces. When we will be able to see which woman is this, who. Have women dressing normal dresses as well, regular dress. Yes, respectful, of course. Respectful clothing for everyone. Okay, but this is very important. Give them respect. All right, so that's all the reasons why they are not chosen. Religion number 4, Hinduism. Why we are not choosing them? So Hinduism was created by Ramakrishna, the Gadadhar, and the doctrines of samsara, and the continuous cycle of life and death and reincarnation and karma, and the universal learning of cause and effect. Okay, so the first thing is that they have different lords. They use the word Brahma, they use the word Vishnu, Shiva. So this is not good. We need one God is the superior force, and no other names will be used. Okay, even as the headquarters bring this message to renew the life of this planet Earth and our humanity, we are not going to have our names used, for those reasons. God is God, the superior force. Nature is natures that provide what we need. Okay? The other thing, they have different books. And the right is to have one book with all details needed for everyone to follow exactly the same. The other thing is that not such a thing as divine creatures having many arms. Because, for example, God can do anything He wants. Yes, He can. He's the superior force, right? But we don't have to show, even in sculptures, even in cement sculptures or drawings, many arms, because, in a human figure, because that's not right. Humans are humans. God is God, right? But we cannot have humans with any arms all over. This is not right. Also, we are not having elephants as divine, because that's not right either. That's not right. No cows are sacred, no elephants are sacred. Animals are animals, humans are humans, right? And all of us, we're evolving spiritually, okay? But they're not God, an image of an elephant. Not God, that's not right. The other thing is that have many faces. They show a lot drawings with many faces, paintings, right? So God can do many different things in many different places. Yes, He can. But it's not harmonious to see such image, a picture drawing like that's not right, or make a statue out of it. So all those things are wrong, not needed, not sustainable, and not positive. Religion number 5, so it's Buddhism. Let's say a few words about that. So they say they have 4 noble truths, right? Existence is suffering. Suffering has a cause, namely craving and attachment. There is a sensation of suffering, which is nirvana. There is a path to the cessation of suffering. Just in a few words, because nowadays, I don't know the religions, how many diversions they have, but what we can say, we cannot focus in suffering. We have to focus on peace and love. We have to focus on having families united, communities united, and have peace and respect each other, right? That's what we have to focus on, and not on suffering. So we're not having divine beings called devas or other Buddhist deities, because that's not the right way. We're also not having statues for any religion of any type, of any size. Not even the pocket size, these little things people carry around, or like the cross for Christians they carry around, all around. No, we're not having anything, and not huge statues as well, because God is alive. God is a spirit in energy, that's what it is. So that's what we're doing. They are based on the book Tripitaka. We don't need to know much about the book, but the main thing is for us to know about Buddha. Buddha left his wife and his son to be Buddha. So right from the beginning, that's not right. That's not right. No one needs to leave the family to have peace in their mind, to talk about God, to guide, inspire other people, but their wife and son is at home. This is not right. The right is for us to have families united, a husband and a wife together and have children. Okay, this is very important. For the planet to be sustainable, we are saying for everyone to have 2 children. But for now, everyone will have, every good family, good couple, will have 8 children teams because, there are too many to be adopted. But that's not right to leave the wife and the son to be Buddha, to be a real religious guy. That's not right either. So that's not the chosen one. So number 6, let's say a few words about indigenous religions and even people that live in a city but practice indigenous native religions. So some people paint the skin, burn the skin. All these are not needed, not positive. They have also the courage test. That's crazy, because their culture blend with religion, and those beliefs are really not good. Some tests really hurt people to show they're an adult, to show they're strong. Courage tests. Some are really mean. How we can have such a thing? That's another reason we are getting all indigenous people from all tribes to live in a city. Because that's what we need to do. They're sustainable, yes, but they're not positive. They're not having positive practices. For those beliefs that no one needs to pass for suffering, to be hurt so much, to show they're a man, to show they're strong, not such a thing. So no more courage tests on that way. We also don't need the peyote that's used for thousands of years. We don't need the ayahuasca that's used for even from 900 before Christ, right? Used in Peru. We don't need those things. We don't need any tea or any herb to be called sacred. Some of them we will use in our gardens, plant and mix with our salads, but we're not calling them sacred. Okay, because sacred is a combination of positive food we are going to have. A combination of fruits, vegetables, roots, herbs, everything, right? So that's what's important for us. Clean water, being organic, that's what we need to take care, my friends. Okay, because some people were using all those things, doing all those things in different religions, but they still, the basic, not met. That's eat organic, plant our own food, and so on. Have positive, sustainable practices. That's why we're not having any indigenous or native religion or religion practice of any type. They have tobacco. Goodness, they have tobacco as sacred. Sacred tobacco. Places that sell sacred tobacco. We don't need those things. Tobacco is not good, not positive. The same as marijuana, not good, not positive. We're not going to plant. It will be forbidden to plant all those things. Forbidden. And everyone needs to give. All these religions I mentioned needs to stop having their practices and renew and tell their leaders and their disciples that all of them will be closed down. So we will close all properties of all types for religious practices. Okay, and also people that are doing home, as soon as they get the message, they cannot continue those practices at their homes as well, with any of those books, any of those drinks, right? Of any time. Objects, none of these objects for all these religions I mentioned, and for the others, that are many others that I didn't even mention, but once they are not so big, I'm not mentioned, and they're ready. Consider this a notice for them as well. Okay, so in a few words, no images, no practices, no prayers, no holy book, no children's book, no clothes, no objects, and no drinks for every religion of this planet Earth. We will renew, all of us, with the clean water and peace organization practices and our peace religion, the religion of peace and love. Okay, that I'm going to tell you a few more words afterwards in a separate handbooks that will be part of our International Constitution Royal Blue Book. And you have the 24 hours to notice everyone, to send notice, right, to everyone, and 48 hours to have the people, the leaders and disciples that are interested to and will be living there, that are interested to start remodeling the site until the organization launching day. After the organization launching day will be the 10 department directors that will take over everything that was already started, the remodeling that already, started. The other thing that's done in many religions, the fasting. The real fasting for many days is not a good thing, my friends. It's not. People fast to eat crazy drinks or fast to eat nothing, or say they're fasting but they're really not fasting. They fast a few hours but it's not real fast. So what we're going to do about that? People can fast very rarely for one day on a weekend. But when they're working and going to their educational site, they have to eat properly like everyone else, because that's a natural thing for the human. We have to eat. Okay? So one day is reasonable. If the person, needs, to drink water for a day or so, I think that is reasonable. They can do that, adults. But children, teens, up to 21 years old, no, they do not fast. Parents cannot ask them to fast. If adult parents want to fast, they fast themselves, but they cannot ask children, teens to fast anytime. Because they're growing, they need food. Okay, a variety of food, as we have been talking about. Colorful, different fruits for different nutrients of all types. So for fasting, the maximum is up to 2 days. Up to 2 days. Let's say 4 times a year. I think that's reasonable. And no more than that. So this is for the 28 weeks and also for after. That's really plenty if the person needs to detox and of course needs to drink lots of water. Right? Okay? But only if the person wants. Like a husband cannot do it and ask the wife to do it. And the other way around as well. The wife doing cannot ask the husband. They cannot ask or make the spouse to do it. Because that's not positive, not needed. Just for a regular cleanse, that's okay. Can be done. Alright? So up to 2 days and only up to 4 times a year. These 2 days can only be weekends, Saturday and Sunday, or vacation days. Okay? All right. And if afterwards we decide that we are going to improve that a little bit, we will let you know in another video. The other thing that we are not going to have is anyone saying that is a spiritual leader of this, a spiritual leader of that. No, we're not going to have that. We are only having the 10 department directors. Those 10 department directors will take turn and lead our spiritual meeting. But it's forbidden for anyone to suddenly go anywhere and start saying they're leader because they know this, they know that, and start talking about the organization or about anything else, or any other religion, or any other belief. Or it's also forbidden for them to say they're prophets. It's also forbidden for them to be on the street saying words, like preaching. This is not right, my friends. And some people even say aloud, oh, and this and this and that. That's not right. For us to talk about God or about the Clean Water and Peace Organization, right? The positive subjects that we can talk about at our religious meetings needs to be done in a good tone of voice, in a harmonious way. And also not to be repeated over and over for them to evolve spiritually, because that's not the right way as well. It's also forbidden to have different wives. This is really wrong. It's not right. So we know that nowadays we have some countries with too many women and some countries with too many men. So what we have to do? We're going to share right now during these 28 weeks, people will be able to travel and have. And after that, we are just going to pray. We're going to pray because we still have more men than women in our humanity, right? But people with good practices, they deserve to marry and have a wife. And those most negative people, for example, those that are in jail, right? They will be in more desert areas, less populated counties to be proper checked, and they won't have a wife because that's the only way. But for everyone, all the men, because some countries we know that we have many men, they deserve a woman. And the organization will do the best we can for them to have a good place to live and start a family, for those that do not have a family yet. The other thing is that everyone needs to have a proper marriage, official marriage. All right, everyone, this is very important. One man with one woman as they came to earth from birth and start a family or continue the family they already have. So they need the official paper or the one that's offered now at their own county, their own countries, right? And soon after, everyone will be redoing their marriage license. So everyone in a whole plan will have the same exact paperwork. This paperwork will be done at the city office officially, right? And people can still have their parties. So people that want to have a family party with a very few friends, not huge parties as people had before. So they can have their wedding party, the ceremony, and then they will bring that paper to the city office for proper registration, and they will have testimony at the wedding ceremony, right, that they have in a proper location, right, they have chosen, is authorized to offer that. And when they get to the city office, the couple in charge will also sign that document that they've proven that the couple was there and turn in that document with these other signatures. Every couple will have the wedding ring that's a golden band, not those rings with very expensive diamonds or any other type of rock of any type. It will be a simple, regular golden ring, a band for everyone. So the new couple can avoid children for the first few years. That will be said at the family department handbook. And after that, they need to have children. Okay, it's mandatory for them to have their own children, 2 children, and then get operated right away. The operation will be done, as soon as the wife will have the second baby. So she won't get pregnant right there when at the clinic, right there. So we are not having babies born at the house because nurses or midwives cannot go to other people's houses because that's not right, not positive. Everyone will have their babies at the clinic, proper, regular clinics. So every couple need to get the wife pregnant by the end of her 26 years. I think that's reasonable. Because if they start having babies too young, soon as they marry, that's not right, not sustainable, because then we're going to increase too many the number of families. So they have to wait a little bit more and get operated right after. To avoid babies, we are not going to have any synthetic medicine. We're only going to have natural ways, that will be explained in another video. So as soon as the couple have those 2 babies, they're going to start a new family. And they have to honor each other, respect each other, and work united, doing things together, and not also being by themselves, but also interacting with their community, having good practices, joining the festivals at the schools, their children's schools. They have to go to school for meetings 4 times a year. Right? 4 times a year they have these long meetings at the school, special meetings for them to have an idea on what their children are learning. They will also go 4 times a year to the schools for the festivals, for the seasonal festivals, beautiful special presentations, celebrating nature, celebrating God, right? Respect and celebrating the seasons of the year. That's so beautiful. Have contact with their friends. Interact with each other. See presentations of plays, right? And see their children dancing and singing, waving their white peace flags. It's going to be really beautiful. And also joining our religious practices. For children, teens, they will have religious education at the schools, based only on good and positive stories. That's another handbook, but only in good things, and teaching them practices for them to evolve spiritually as well. Having good emotional equilibrium, have peace, have love, have kindness, right? Good things that we need for our humanity. And families united will also be joining their religious meetings on the weekends at their own residential community. We also will have spiritual shows. What is that? For us to sing together, go to some different places sometimes, but that we are going to explain properly afterwards. We're not going to sit and be talking, but we can go to a bigger group of people to sing special songs when we are in nature. And sometimes also in special places, special buildings. We can do that. Okay, my friends, so thank you so much for your comprehension, your cooperation to make this transition happen in the best way as possible and as soon as possible for us to renew and start with our clean water and peace organization practices. So please go ahead, set up those meetings and get ready. Okay, so now I'm going to say a few words about our 48 hours meeting. So that means when you receive the notice, you have up to 48 hours to have everyone there for a meeting. I think that's reasonable. And people that live close by, because that's what's supposed to be, right? Local churches, right? People far away are not going to those meetings. Because some people travel even for days to go to a special place. You're not having any of that. People that can come, can come. People that cannot come, won't go. Okay? All right. So, you send the notice right away, being emails, phone calls, or list or groups, whichever you're already doing, you're going to send the notice to those people. You can even go, and give some notice in hand, right, for the people that live close by. Okay, so this 48 hours meeting up to that time will be up to 4 hours, no more. We're not having this whole day thing. We're not having that. So these 4 hours, what will include? Okay, so 1 hour, the first hour will be for a meeting. Right, it's good. You have been together for so many years, so it's good. Any religion. Everyone will sit down properly, right? At the property where they already meet. They cannot go to another place. No restaurants, no hotels, no conference rooms, nothing of that. Or park, nothing of that. They have to meet at their own property with people that can attend. So this first hour, everyone's going to sit down and you're going to say those words I just said here, and you're not going to say only about your religion. Okay, we're saying a few words about the explanation for the other religions as well. Like, for people to be better informed. As a few words, don't have to say, so much, but a few words. Okay, and then you will have a lunch together, up to 2 hours. So by the time you clean up, the time you set up, organize, eat, and clean up. So lunch include all those things. All dishes are clean and put away. Okay, so you had your lunch for 2 hours, lunch time, that include all those. So this 1 hour for cleaning up, everyone will clean up according to what they have, right? Some people have a lot of stuff on altars. Some people have a lot of objects for their practices. Some other places have a lot of paintings around. Some places have nurseries full of toys. Some places have cabinets full of decorations for different reasons and so on. Clothing, costumes. So what we're going to do, this 1 hour cleanups for everybody to clean up their own locations and already select them with enthusiasm, with happy, hey, let's do it. Yes, we're going to do this. Okay, so they already set up the teams. So they clean up all these things according to where they will go. They don't have to bring on that day. They can bring on the next day, okay? But they have to put away in boxes, in bags, whichever they have. If they have a Bible, the Quran, whichever. And also for all children's book related to it, the teens book, special books for all religions. So all the books put in a box, all the toys that are placed in another box, good toys that are in wood, natural materials, they're going to be separated, right? Because if you're going to be school, going to be used already there. Otherwise, going to be sent to a thrift store. All costumes in another bag, because if they are related to a religion, we cannot use. But if they are regular clothes, like for plays, can be given to a school or a preschool that will be set right there or nearby. So we have to put away everything anyways, right? Okay, so everyone that are present, we already organize everything of the whole church, the whole property. Okay, so let's say give a few examples. All plastic toys in an area will be recycled. All natural toys will stay in another place for a school or preschool that will be built right there or nearby. All the books related to any religion will be sent to trash because they can burn them. We are not using so much chemicals to send those books to recycling centers. Every object of every religion or special costumes that they use for that religion also gonna be sent to trash because we are not sending all those books to recycle centers because they use too many chemicals, and that's not sustainable for our planet. Kitchen items will stay. You're just gonna take out everything that's electric, such as the toasters, coffee makers, and everything else that you might have there. From the bathrooms, you can already take anything, objects you have, and also these scents, or sprays or things like that, because we don't use them. Or dry leaves, some people use those for scent. So all these gonna be taken out. Just leave the soap, right? Regular things. From the altars or for objects they use, the same way. If they can be recycled, they will be recycled. If they cannot, will be sent to trash. Everything gonna be already separated, okay? Because gonna be remodeled anyway, it's gonna be painted anyway. So everything needs to be packed up. Or placed in bags, so they can put in boxes, right? Or in bags. For churches that have gold gonna be given to people that make wedding bands, right? For those in need, don't have money, they can already give to them. Go ahead and give, because they will be given as well to others, right? Don't expect any money back because that was given to the disciples anyways, all right? So that's the most sustainable way. For the main room where people have their meetings, you're gonna see what's the most reasonable. If it's all in real wood that can be used, right, for different things, put it aside. If there are chairs with paddings, if they're thin, like the ones that we authorize, they can keep, right? But if they're very bulky, we cannot keep those. So they have to be sent out to recycle centers so they can take the padding out from the wood before recycle the wood. And for everything else, you're gonna do what's the most reasonable on that hour, because if teams are working together, they can pack everything in that hour, about that hour. So people will have enough time to go home before it gets dark. That's our priority. If the church is too big, it's reasonable to have, instead of 1 hour for cleanup, they can have 2 hours cleanup time. That's fine, but no more. So they have to finish, let's say, by 4 p.m., right? Because some people need to get bus to get home, and once it's a special day, they can come for places that are not too far away. But up to 4 o'clock, and everyone needs to leave the property, okay, by 4 o'clock. During lunchtime or before lunchtime, you're also going to sign those documents that I said. Those documents with testimony. So the church leaders will sign this document. These documents will have 4 originals. And the church leader with the main leaders gonna be signing them all. They have to be ready on those 48 hours from notice time. I think that's really reasonable. The document will be made with the papers that the church already use. Some put their logos, some just have their names, some have stamps, right? You're gonna use everything that you already have been using, all right? The document will have two paragraphs, the first one in English and the second one in your own language. The language that you use to have your practices, your spiritual practices, being exactly the same, translated on Google Translator. So you will write, we, leaders of this church, agree and declare for due purposes that today, and I'm going to put the date there, we are closing our religious practices and our religious site for religious practices. And from today on, we will only practice the Clean Water and Peace organization. Rules and guidelines from the International Constitution Royal Blue Book. For being true, we sign the present declaration. Okay, so you're going to sign in order. Once this is a site that will be closing, we're going to sign on this order. First, the main leader, because most of the religions have one main leader. And then the other leaders, and then the assistants, and then the disciples. Okay? So you're going to choose, depending on how many you are, but you can choose to sign a total of up to 20 people, up to 20, up to 28 people, up to 40 people. You can do that, and the maximum is up to 80 people for very large places in order of importance. So the people most importance gonna sign, because this is a closing site. So that's how we will be doing. How they're going to sign? Okay, so for the name of the person, you will already type and have it ready with the other words of the document. The name of the chosen people going to be signed, and that they already said they're coming for that meeting, because all the main leaders need to be there. Okay, all right. And then in front of that same line, you have already typed the name, so it's really clear. The person gonna write the sign clearly. It's not initials. Two first and last name, signature, completed signature. And then they're gonna write the date and the date of birth. And on the second line, each person will write their own address to prove that person was already there with their own handwriting. That's why you cannot type and print the person's address. Okay, on this document, you also, before all the signatures, you have to already say how information was sent to all disciples and the total amount of disciples you have. So how that gonna work? You're going to say, we have a total of, and you're gonna say the number of participating disciples and not constant, and the total of non-constant participating disciples. Because some people just go for special events, right? For some churches, they don't go in a regular basis every week. They don't do that. Depend the religion and the type of practice they do. But some people are the regular people. They always go, they're there, they're proper, they attend with consistency. So you're going to write for both of them. The total that attend with consistency and the total that attend, you can use the word randomly, okay? Or with no consistency. You choose one of the best words, okay? You also need to write the total that pay dues, if dues are established, and the total that do not pay dues. If your church do not have a proper set up monthly dues, you're just gonna say, we don't have a proper set up monthly or yearly dues. People donate as they want. And on the same document, before all the signatures, you're also gonna add your income, your total gross income for the last 6 months. So, for this month, total that. For this month, total that. Why is that? Because many disciples have no idea of how much the church leaders getting. And this is very important, okay? To say, because they're going to be signing, they have to say that, okay? So you're going to be writing that. All right, so you finish that, you're already done. And then you're going to gather all the signatures at this lunch that we believe 48 hours plenty of time, because it's a very important meeting and needs to be done. Okay, so when this document is completed, everyone sign, you finish to clean up the church, everything is done. What you're going to do with this document? You are going to send to all disciples as well. You're going to scan a couple that is, the secretary, important couple, will be sending a copy for everyone, because everyone that was there, they know, they have proper records of the whole information. They're going to be saving that document at their email for any future need. And also for those that could not come on time, to know who signed, what was written, and everything else. And I forgot one thing. Before you say about the total of the income received and all this thing related to money, you're also going to say, and we, all church leaders, also resign from our position. You have to include this word there, okay? And every single leader needs to sign. So for the leaders that could not come for any reason, they have to come with another 24 hours. Go to that meet with that secretary, the person in charge. That couple needs to be a couple, okay? And sign. They cannot enter the person's house, but they can sign outside on the street. Meet and sign, or at the work, or the person university, whichever they agree that's the best location. So in up to 24 hours, because for that paper to be sent out to all the leaders and all the disciples, they need to be properly signed by all leaders of that religion that attend that property, that site. Okay, so you had that 40 up to 24 hours after the lunch, right? So the lunch finished what? 4 o'clock, right? Is our due time. So the following day up to 4 p.m., the leaders that were not there need to sign this letter so they can be sent out. And a copy of this letter will also be sent to the leaders of the leaders, the headquarters of that religion. So that's very important, on that same day. So the secretary that is doing this paperwork needs to arrange this document to be signed for the leaders that did not come, and be already in town in a location that they can scan this document, right? For them to do this work and don't be working at night at the street. So they're going to sign, people that did not come, going to sign in up to 24 hours, and right soon after, the secretary with a spouse will be scanning and sending this document, a few pages document, to their leaders of the leaders and to all disciples and to everyone. Okay? That's really important. Another word I forgot is that the leaders, right, on that first big paragraph that they will be signing this, needs to state, and for the disciples as well, we all agree that we are not going to have any image, practices, prayers, holy book, clothes, objects, drinks, or symbols related to this religion. Not now and not for any future year. We'll agree that we are cleaning up our church site on this day. It needs to match, of course, the day that you wrote today on the top of this paragraph. And also from our homes in up to 48 hours from this lunch day. I think that's reasonable because some families have children and they still working and have other things to do. But in up to 48 hours from lunch, I think that's reasonable and people can gather all their materials, items, use, clothing, uniforms, or objects, and everything else I just said. Yes, and you have to add, because I said holy book, but also any other book related to this religion. So please add this item. Any other book related to this religion. Okay, so that's the document. You're going to have all these signatures. You need at least 50% of the attending people to sign this document. So that includes the leaders and also the disciples, right, of that religion. For the non-attending won't be counted, but for those that are attending, 50%, so you're already going to write all their names. So if it's too many people, because some churches are really for close that are close by. They walk, they don't even take cars, right? So some churches are right there for people that live right close by. And some churches, people go really far away. So what we are going to do is that for those that couldn't come, they have these 24 hours, right, to sign the paper. So if it's too many, the person can assign a location. You know, on that meeting they're having before lunch, they can already assign a location for those other people that could not come, because you need 50% of people, including disciples that are attending, signing these papers. Some churches have too many leaders, right? Or too many people in a better position because of their levels, their degrees. So, of course, will be signed, but most leaders as possible and with the least disciples attending. Attending disciples, okay? So you're going to focus, of course, on the main leaders, other leaders, assistant of the leaders, and so on. All leaders need to have in front of their name their position that can be placed between parentheses. You know, so you're going to say bishop, you're going to say church father. So whichever word you use. So whichever word you use for the leader of your church. Okay, some churches, they have the spiritual leaders and also leaders that work with the community, with different departments that are not really the spiritual leader, but those you have to put as well. 1 or 2 words, no more is needed, for what the person was doing at the church. So, for example, some people have the Department of Social Work, some people have the kitchen and food team, right? We have different, some people take care of the children, some take care of the youth. So you're just going to write one or two words. If the word is too long, because we have many different types of languages, right? You can abbreviate in a reasonable way. Cannot be just one or two, but if you can put the 4 first initial words for that, then we'll be okay. 4 initial letters for each, then it's okay. You can abbreviate, but cannot just be 1 or 2 letters. Okay, the secretary will be, and with some other, another couple, I think at least two couples, in a designated place in a city, can be a restaurant, a park, or whichever you think is the most convenient, for these other important leaders to be signing that paper, right? Okay, so soon after that person needs to scan, on that same day, needs to scan, right? Up to 4 p.m. on the following day after the lunch day, the special meeting day. And then on the next day, this person needs to put that lead on a mail, okay? There are 4 originals, right? But one original will be already sent to their headquarters, properly mailed. So you scan to the headquarters, yes, to their email, but also be sent by regular mail. If mail is still available in your city, because soon after, we don't know exactly the day, but we are going to close regular mail deliveries. So that's why it's very important for everyone to be doing these things before the organization launching day. Get it done as soon as possible and mail this letter. So everyone gonna be signing 4 different originals, right? Okay, so that long letter with all those signatures and all these details gonna have 4 originals exactly the same. So I will be telling you where those originals gonna be sent to. One will be kept by the main church leader of that time. Okay, the main church leader gonna be kept for him forever. All right. The second one, as I said, will be mailed to that religion headquarters, their main headquarters of all. For example, for the Catholics, gonna be sent to their country leader. We are not sending to the Vatican, even that the Vatican is the main place right now. Why is that? Because going to be too many letters sent overseas. We don't need that. Okay? So if your church main headquarters is in another country, you're not mailing to another country. You can only mail to your own country. Okay? The main office of your main country. The third original will be sent to that city office, your own county city office, as soon as they are open after the organization launching day. And the fourth one will be given to their local city office, but to be sent to that country city office, because on the future, people are not going to know where the country main city office is, because we are going to keep the most important documents on that country city office, as this one, the closing of the government, the closing of churches. Okay, we don't want people to know, because we want to. Sorry, let me do just a very quick improvement here. People will know. We are going to place that at the Peace County, at the city office of the Peace County. So that's where the fourth document will go. Everyone will know, but it's going to be safe, because everyone is doing that with agreement. And those documents are safe for any future need. But no one gonna be going, checking, doing studies, that's not authorized to do any of this paperwork. And eventually, they will be properly placed in online, right? And also the hard copy kept in papers in proper sealant place. We're going to see how we're going to do that for this document to last forever. So probably in plastic envelopes, transparent plastic envelopes, that no one gonna be needed to. It's forbidden actually to be checking, studying, looking, make sure. If anyone wants, they can check the online version. For the people that are authorized, such as university students, they can check that if they want, right? So how many churches were closed in each country, they can go look, done. Okay, but nothing to be like an assignment for classes or anything like that. We're just gonna have a total on the book that the document we're gonna make afterwards for the 28 weeks, the report of the 20 weeks. How many total churches were closed? How many total countries were free, right? How many total countries presidents gave up to the organization? That's all of them. How many new countries were made, right? That small ones were combined and large ones were divided, and other information. So all this information will be kept at the Peace County City Office in proper transparent envelopes, and will never will need to be opened. People are gonna see the original, their stamps and everything. Okay, so also something that's very important, when people are signing, all the church leaders, some churches were based on board members, right? So if they have board members, so they're going to start with the board, and then they go to the spiritual leaders, the spiritual leaders first, and then the board members, and then the others. Okay, so we will have everything properly separated, the spiritual leaders and also the board members, the treasurer, secretary, and things like that. Because we have many different types of churches, right? That's why I'm asking all these details for us to be clear about everything. Okay, the other thing that we're not considering people that does pilgrimage and go far away and gather millions of people, thousands and even millions of people. We're not considering that. We're just considering people that gather together the same property, the same church with consistency. That's what we are focused on. Okay? All right, so for the cleanup, yes, people can go in cars, trucks, because they can already take a few things and already bring them to their proper location. That's very important. So for items to be recycled, for items to bring to the trash, so they can already go over those things. Or if any item they're bringing home, okay, so they clean up everything the best as possible and have the place empty, have the place properly and clean, the best as possible up to 4 o'clock. So if they have too much, because some churches have way too many things, they have clothing and decoration and and too many toys for different times of the year. So some churches have really a lot of things. So they can set up their meeting at 8 o'clock in the morning. So people will be there early in the morning and have time to already organize a few things before the meeting or soon after the meeting, before the lunch. But 4 o'clock p.m. is the due time for everyone to be leaving the property with everything properly organized, as I just said. And if they need trucks, if they have really too many things, like chairs, because we're not leaving chairs on site, those chairs that cannot be used, right? The the ones that are thick, have thick padding, they already need to be sent out to recycle centers. And the ones with thin padding, they already need to be sent out to a thrift store that's nearby and dropped off on time, so people can be home before it gets dark in the evening. On this day, it's not to have anymore a meeting, a religious meeting. So people are not going to sing their holy songs or special songs. They can sing other songs that they already know, but not those. And they're going to be talking, be enthusiastic, walking around, say, yes, oh, great, we are going to renew life. So the church leader, when have this meeting, 1 hour meeting with everyone, that will be the last words. Yes, we can do it. Let's do it, my friends. Let's renew humanity. Let's renew, the way we think and our practices, and will be a gift for all of us. So the leaders need to be doing that with the open heart, really an open heart, and not with sadness or being upset or anything like that, because that's not proper spiritual evolution, right? Spiritual evolution is when we are sad, we see something that's really better, so let's embrace it, let's do it, okay? If by any chance the church did not have the opportunity, did not have the notice to do that before the organization launching day, so that's okay. Will be done as soon as the church has the notice. All right. Now it's mandatory for anyone of any church, attending or not, attending just sometimes, as soon as they receive the notice from the organization, to send that notice to the church leader. Or the church leader, they have an email or to forward the information, or a phone to forward the information, okay? All right, so the person needs to send information to the one they know the highest, not to another disciple, okay? If they're very new, don't have any information, then it's okay, but if they have information, they're going to send to the person, the highest person of that church, okay, right away. And so if the person received an email, the person needs to forward that email. If the person received a phone call, forward the phone call with the message, exactly the same, say the words. Okay, if the person do not have the leader email, okay, call, right, the highest person and say, look, I have an email, can I have your email, please? Because I have the email, more details. Details can be what? Can be the video, one of those videos from YouTube, or can already be the website, the organization website with the link regarding the closing of churches of all types. People receiving this information will also give to family members and neighbors that same notice. All right? Family members, neighbors, co-workers, and friends. They have to send that information right away to those people as well. So we can reach other people as soon as possible, not only to their own church leaders. So in the same way, it was an email, they forward the email. If it was on social media, they forward in social media. And everything else they have, because if they have email and social media, they have to send on both. While social media is available, because soon after we're going to close them all because they're not needed, not sustainable. Okay, like regular social media, where people share their names and so on. YouTube going to continue as the peace videos that can be shared in the future. But if the person has any group of any type, they're going to share with them, even that's related to work, so if the person receives an email with many links, going to forward to everyone in all ways as possible those links regarding different subjects, okay? So the cleanup needs to be really complete and properly done. only the kitchen positive items that gonna stay, okay, until the organization have proper decided what that property will be used for. Okay, so I think that is really done, really complete, all details. And if it's after the organization launching day, for any question, people can already look at the website, okay, for any detail. Okay, so now let's say a few words about this property, right? What will be used for? And what is the most needed in the area according to the building, what's in there. Okay. So the church leader or the board members, whichever you have, after this lunch day, right, 4 p.m. you finish that lunch day, you have 48 hours to set up another meeting. But then this other meeting will be only for these main board members and the community that is right there, okay? So it's not for the disciple and other church, the spiritual leaders or not. It's the people that take decision, and that will be the board members, okay? If there's no board members, will be a couple that live right close by there, a responsible, two couples that are very positive, they have very good practices. So these two couples will be leading this meeting. They can be disciples, they can be to lead the meeting, right? They can be part of the board members, in a sustainable way. The best as possible, they won't be the board members. Yeah, improvement here. They won't be board members at all. They have to be two couples that live on the neighborhood up to 2 blocks away, right? Up to 2 blocks away, I think is reasonable. If it's in a rural area, will be, and there's no other people living close by, will be people from the most nearby village, okay? But if it's in a rural area with residents there, gonna be with two responsible people that live right there. Okay, so these two couples gonna lead this group. And notice need to be given to everyone within, let's say, 1 kilometer away, right? 1 kilometer away from that property. If it's in a city or a small city, rural area, I think that works as well. So how are you going to do that? There's different ways for different people, right? So you're going to contact, if that community, residential community, has a leader, you're going to contact them for them to contact the residents. Some other places, like some countries, have that motorcycle that give announcement on the street. So the motorcycle going to be driving around, giving this pre-recorded message. The other way it can be sent is by schools. You're going to contact the schools nearby and send flyers, because some school parents do not have emails. A proper very small flyer can be sent to each family or at the door, as soon as possible. So you have 48 hours for that. Okay? All right. And every interested people, it's welcome to meet there. Okay, so for this meeting, I'm going to say how the meeting will be done and set up. Okay, so the flyer or the email, the flyer to schools, right? To all families of that school. Need to find a way. If the church do not have money to print those flyers, they print what they can. With their money, they have to prove they have no money to print those, because many churches have lots of money. And if they need help, they give the original, like a whole printing paper. I think can fit maybe 2 or 4 right? Different flyers. Okay, so every family, the eldest son or daughter of that family will be bringing that flyer home. Okay, all right. Or because we don't have much time, if they don't have that way set up, they will be given the children and teens when they leave. It's very important to give at preschools, schools, adult education, and university. So you have to make sure people that are in that area, if they have a university, right? So let's improve here. Instead of 1 kilometer, I think 2 kilometers away, right? They can have up to, let's say, up to 20 couples, right, from each of these places, I think is reasonable. So 20 couples from preschool, 20 couples from the local school, 20 couples from the university, and 20 from the adult education. All right, so within 2 kilometers. For the university, of course, if there is no university nearby, you're gonna invite the nearest university. So you're going to have 80 couples there, right? If you can fit. If you can fit at your location, you're going to have 80 couples. If that is not according to your reality, your church is really small, then you're going to invite 10 couples from each of these educational sites, and you will have a total of 40 couples. That everywhere you can meet, outside, in the grass, or inside your church, whichever it is the most convenient. No less than 40 couples from the community. Why we are focusing educational sites? Because we need them. We need parents that have young children. We need parents that have teens. We need adults, some of them might be elders, some of them might be learning how to read and write, okay? And of course, we need university students or teachers. Okay, so you have these 40 couples there set up in up to 48 hours from that lunch day, right? So you need to do fast, and they will also come fast. And you're going to say to them that to enter will be the first couples that sign up. The first couples that sign up for each one, right? For preschool, schools, adult education, university. All right, depending on the location you are and technology available, right? Because some people in some countries, they do a sign up online, and everyone, we already have the list of parents, and whichever who parents want to sign up, they can already do online, and it's done for the ones that did first, sign up first. If you're in a rural area of some countries, you don't have any other option that is online, in different ways, like a meeting invite and things like that. So what you're going to do? You're going to do in paper. So you're going to do the sign-ups in paper. So at the preschool, the principal, preschool, school, right, all of these 4 educational sites, what you're going to be doing? You will already ask them to have the sign-up. So you send a message, they will send a message one day, the next day the sign up in paper will be available. Okay, so everyone, so this message now I'm saying is already for those principals of all these 4 educational sites, because you cannot open the sign-ups right away, because some people work more hours, some people have young children at home. So they have to give, one day for the people to receive the message, and then open up the sign-ups early in the morning, and in the afternoon will be the meeting, for example. Okay, this meeting, it's okay to go till 6 o'clock, all right? So until 6 p.m. And you need to start at 2 p.m. Why is that? Because some meetings might take long time, okay? Start 2 or 4, okay? 2 or 4 p.m. I think that's reasonable. But needs to end at 6 p.m. Because people will be living really close by, right? So they can go home before it gets dark. So I think that's reasonable. The meeting will be placed at the church because some people never walked inside the church, so they have no idea how the place is set up. For people that, for this invitation, you have to make sure that you always will say, we want parents, you want citizens, but we also want engineers, so you make sure when you talk to the university to have at least one couple that is engineer to have a good proposal, be present there. All right, so that's how we're gonna form. So those will be the volunteers that will be signing up to give 2 options for that location and what will be the most needed for that community. That's why we need residents. And from the school, preschool, can be parents, can be elders, grandparents, whichever sign up first. Okay, so you have the meeting starting at 2 or 4 p.m., what you think is the most sustainable according to the place you are, because it has to be in that 48 hours, right? So it's a weekday, it's better 4 o'clock. If it's a weekend, might be 2 o'clock and get it done. Okay, so this first meeting gonna have 2 options, 2 basic options, no details, right? Just the most important things. Oh, this building gonna be great for a preschool that we need or for a school. All right, so they're gonna be talking, one person talks at the time, and the leader's gonna be from the community. So improvement here. So the church board members gonna make sure all these educational sites have that information, okay? And they will also give the key to this couple leader. This couple leader will be the one that has the highest level of university degree. I think that's the most reasonable, okay? And most positive as well. So the church leader in charge will get the key and give to this university couple. All right, that you can already make sure who it is and give the key. All right, the board members are already not there because it's good to have a completely different group walking around, look in the space, and make proposals for the ideas, the proposals, because this is for the community. It's not for one church anymore, or this or that, or leaders, or even people that help giving a lot of money to build a church. No, it's not for that. So we cannot have church leaders there, all right, to be more sustainable. And we will have new people from the community. Okay, so you have 2 proposals. All right, so the proposal number 1, proposal number 2, all right. And then another meeting gonna be set up. And that one will be all details with everything, all the information, all right? I think 48 hours from that day, I think is reasonable, okay? So, and then you're gonna have proper engineers, you're gonna have proper everything else, contractors, right? That will be remodeling, maybe fixing here, demolishing over there, and improving here, placing bigger windows. Everyone need big windows. That's really important. 2 by 2 or so, right? Or long windows, depending what will be used for. So it can be an educational site, right? A preschool, a school, adult education, university, or residential apartments, or residential homes, right? With separated doors, because we have many different types of religious buildings made all over the world. So these two meetings will be called the community meetings for a proposal. I think that's the best way. Okay? So the flyer or email that will be sent home will have this title: Closing of the church located at, and the complete address and telephone number in case someone needs to call on those first 2 days or so. All right? No telephone number, sorry, just the address. Okay? That will be better. Okay, and then give them already the information of these two meetings. All right, the first meeting will be already say, you have to already say 10 or 20 couples for preschool, for school, adult education, university. Okay, this second meeting won't be anymore to hear the community. This second meeting will be only for people that will already be making, like the engineers and contractors and a few other assistants to give, like proper reports on the proposal. Okay, so it's not to hear anymore, oh, we can make this, we can make that. No, not anymore. That was on this first meeting with the community. The second meeting, it's already the decision, details. And that can last about an hour or so. So, for the community gardens, okay, here's the proposal, here's the person in charge, and here's the proposal. We already be the 10 department directors that are interested, even that is not a decision yet, but they have great chances. Okay, so we already be with those 10 department directors, because we want people that will be planning to already put everything they plan in practice, right? That makes sense. So the second community meeting will be for the department directors. Okay, so now I'm going to say separately what the proposals are. We have 10 departments and each one their proposal, right? So each one going to be doing exactly their proposal, what's needed for. In a few words, the engineer is going to give the changes that are needed. The contractor is going to already say which materials are needed, how many people, and so on. For the Department of Community Gardens Agroforestry, the same way, materials needed, how many people, and so on. Okay? If will be remodeled for people to live there, so can start having residents that want to live there, right? And if it's for schools and so on, so we're going to start already having teachers helping, and the parents and teens can also help, already building. So the department director of security, we already say, oh, we need that amount of cameras, where they will be placed, and so on. Construction also will have the details. The walls, we have to take the old wires on, how many solar panels will be placed. So everything will be just presented on that 1 hour. Okay, here's the paper, done, and say a few words. So you have to share that 1 hour. I think 1 hour is not enough, right? Let me think. Yes, 1 hour is plenty, because details will be scanned and sent to everyone by email. Okay, so all these department directors will share time according to importance, because some I have need only 2 or 3 minutes just to say a few words, and some I need 10 minutes. So you're gonna share in a reasonable place. Let's say about 10 minutes for each, and all the details will already be sent out. Okay. Oh, I forgot. The other thing people from the church can leave are some office materials, such as printers and pencils and a few paper, right? A few things like that, a computer. because by the time they decide what that building is going to be, they can use this office and this kitchen for any need. Okay, and then the department director, we already say, they have to start remodeling in 1 or 2 days, I think, because that's really reasonable. So if they have to order things like they are going to get donations or pay if it's before the organization launching day. If it's after the organization launching day, everything going to be free. And of course, everyone going to order only what they really need. So it's very important for the assistants of these department directors to be checking what they ask, such as materials needed, and how many people will be needed to do in the most efficient time. Remodelings, I think, is the most reasonable, is to be up to 4 weeks of work. That's really enough, okay? Because, we are not doing any major thing. We are doing the best we can to use those churches for something that it's most convenient, right? Because every place will be land for us to build other things, okay? So we are not putting everything down and rebuilding everything new. We're gonna use the best, most sustainable way. The other thing is that all specific characteristics of those churches need to be taken out, such as very high steeples, crosses, right, statues of any type, and also for mosaic made in walls or in floor, all these special characteristics of one or another church. Of course, signs and everything else as well. Also for stained glass, we are not using any type of stained glass. All right, if they are historic or not, we just need regular transparent glasses in common areas that going to be large windows for people to see the garden. And if they're going to be, of course, residential homes or bathrooms, then going to be smaller glasses according to the organization basic construction templates. If it's after the organization launching day, people will be checking those details, right, with main guidance. And those will be called the templates for construction, for remodeling of sites, church sites. So, because, some engineers are great, know how to do sustainable remodeling in an easy way, but some are not. And we are not going to have other things created in this modern way. We just want to build what's positive and sustainable, okay? So as soon as the website is ready, it's mandatory for those engineers to follow all the instructions that will be placed at our website, okay? The Clean Water and Peace Organization website. Okay, my friends, so thank you so much for your attention, cooperation, and make sure you have your reports, okay? Make sure you have your reports. So now I'm going to say a few words about reports for everyone that is listed here on this video. So, for the churches that have board members, they are going to make their last board meeting at the records book as they were already been doing. So they will be doing that in the same way. So whichever they were putting their information, right? Details about day and time, okay, everything. And they will be signing in the same exact way. All right, so for that meeting, the morning meeting, remember I said 1 hour meeting. So they have to do that meeting. And all the leaders will be signing these record books. All right. Now, the second thing they have to do is to copy all those words that we typed, right, of those 4 originals that are going to be made. So they will end that book in the same exact way. All right. All churches will be giving only this last board meeting. We'll be separating this last board meeting of records to the local city office. Okay, so we know exactly what they were doing before, what were their practices. Mandatory for them to give the last, maybe even the 2 last, but 1 last for sure. The second last I'm gonna let you know. So the last records book will be given to the local city office as soon as they open, of course, with all these 2 things I ask. One in the regular way and one with this new letter, exactly the same as the one will be printed and have 4 originals. Okay, so this is for the board members, right? Number 2, for all the families that were going to a church, all families attending a church, right? Or a spiritual practice. All right. As soon as they have their family records book, they need to say in at least 1 whole page, right? And have another page for at least 2 pictures of this day, okay? If how was done, if they were able to go or not, if they didn't go, why they didn't go, if they went, how was their feelings about, they can say a few words like that, okay? So 1 page, 1 whole page to describe, and 1 page to place at least 2 pictures. These pictures need to be printed properly in a proper printing paper. They can save the pictures on their cell phone and print as soon as they can. They just leave blank for now, okay? These 2 pictures, they're gonna glue with white glue one after another, right? Okay, so as soon as the family will print these 2 pictures, they send it. Sorry, I forgot. For the board members, the church board members, they need to glue at that records book, their own records book. They also need to glue at least 20 pictures. Okay? So 2 in each page, so they're big and printed in proper paper in the same way. Those 20 pictures gonna be from before, a few, right? Maybe 4 pictures from before and maybe 4 from each activity, something like that. Even up to 25 pictures, that will work, okay? So they're gonna have the before and after, like the empty space. The empty space can be just 1 picture. It's their main meeting room or main meeting outside there, whichever they use, their main meeting area, right? 1 picture is enough with everything empty. All the benches or chairs taken out. Okay, all right? We continue with the reports, detail about reports of everything I said. Number 3 is for churches that did not have board members. Okay, I'm going to explain now how they're gonna do. Did not have board members. All right, so they will, if they have a type of records book, and anyhow, even without board members, they're gonna do the same way. Do that 2 parts, right? 1 in a regular way, 1 in a new way with that ladder, and also glue the pictures and give to the city office. Okay, so if they did not have a proper records book, they're gonna make in paper properly printed. So they're gonna print and say how was their meetings, okay? How was their meetings, and how many years they have been having activity or things like that. Actually, this for how many years will be placed on that big ladder. Not that big ladder that everyone gonna sign. Okay, so we are having meetings here since, and put the date, the year. All right, and then everything else already said, and people gonna sign. All right. So coming back of this number 3 here, explanation of these people that do not have board members. They only have spiritual leaders. Okay, so they're gonna do this explanation. I think if they're printed in number 11 or so, I think that's reasonable. They're gonna have 2 whole pages of explanation. Okay, so if people, for example, indigenous or half indigenous, people doing things in nature, they're gonna have helpers and they need to print how they were doing. So the spiritual leader, such as the indigenous, the medicinal leader, or whichever they have, because each tribe is a little different, they're gonna have help and sign, and they can do this at the village that they are going to be sent to, the first moment, right? So they can sign. All right, and also will be said, written in the same way. The first in English, so you have 2 pages in English and 2 pages in their own language. So this way we're going to have proper records of the church. And for indigenous people, they're going to give an estimate, whichever they are used to, right, for time, or if the university nearby already know how many years, because sometimes, the people from the civilization know more than themselves, right, because they don't have proper records written. Okay, so the university can write a few sentences. So, but everything, the translation needs to be exactly the same. The leaders will sign, some other people of that tribe or whichever or that village, right? Gonna sign and have. Okay, so 2 whole pages in English and 2 whole pages in their own language. All right, so number 4. It is for the headquarters assistant teams to be writing their reports. Okay, so I have an improvement here. For the number 3, if it's an indigenous tribe, they will say with their own words what they know. No interference. I think that's the best way. They're gonna say what they know, how they were doing. They can say things about their costume, their songs, okay? Everything written small, no double spaces. So in 2 pages, the most important things, and the 2 pages with translation. All right, so the number 4, we're still in reports, okay? We still explain about reports for each religion. Will be done this way. So the headquarters assistant team, that is always university teachers, right, nearby, in the same county, sometimes on the same state, because some are in the middle of the jungle nowhere. All right, in far away places. All right, so the headquarters assistant team gonna make the reports also for the same tribes of each type. 2 pages in English and 2 pages on their own language. Okay? Who gonna sign? The headquarters assistant team, that's 1 couple, right? And then 1 that's assistant team. And anyone else, we need 2 more couples. Or couples that help to remove them, transfer them. That's a better word. Transfer them to a new location. Or couples that help to clean up the tribe, right? For things to, put them down, right? To be sustainable, and the forest will grow over, or people gonna come and plant it if they were too large. All right, so that's the fourth and last report. So everyone will have report of that church. So going back to the number 2 a little bit, it's for families that were attending a church, were disciples of a church, even that just one of the person was going to that church. You're going to say a few words. This person, this teen or this youth, let's say, or this adult was going to that church, but nobody else was going, or gonna say the other way around. Everyone was going to this church with except of that person. Gonna say a few words, okay? And about their feelings, whichever is, okay? And on that day or those 2 days, and even that they can say was hard, but at the end need a positive sentence. We cannot end, for families, cannot end with a negative, the last few sentences, cannot do that. But they can be placed on the beginning because they're expressing their feelings, on the part of the feelings, not the report itself. Like, we have been going to this church for that amount of years and this and that. But on the part that they're talking about feelings, okay, it was very hard for us because we have very special friends there. But then you're going to complete with a few last positive sentence. But we can still meet our friends at our local schools, local parks, or something like that. Neighbors, okay, there are neighbors. They're still part of our lives, okay, so you can say that. Okay, so for this, we complete then all these 4 different reports that we'll be having. For the remodeling meeting, we also can have headquarters assistant teams for each state, to give a basic, because that will be the most sustainable that we're going to have at our website eventually, but before that, for university teachers to already guide, because it's a pattern for all these religions, right? So Catholic churches are built mostly this way. And temples for all the churches are built in a specific way. So we can have the headquarters assistant teams also giving proposals for what will be the best for this type of church, that type, church buildings or religious properties, because some don't even have a proper religious building. Okay, one thing that I forgot to add, you remember that place where I said that everyone agreed to don't have anymore, and on the paper is also written that no one gonna have images, practice, prayers, the holy book, clothes, objects, and symbols. So you're also gonna add, we are not going to have any pilgrimage of any type or processions. And also not join parades. So please include these 3 things as well. And we are not having, because some people used to wear different clothes for these things, or go far away, or have suffering things that they have to do, or bringing things. So we're not doing any of that, and need to have that commitment at the letter itself and at the explanatory letter. Okay, my friends, so I think that will be really a great gift for us, okay? And as soon as we will have the organization launching day, we will already have the Clean Water and Peace Organization spiritual meetings. That's another video, and will be explained properly at the website as soon after the organization launching day. That these 10 department director couples will be taking turns and lead those meetings, because some of the residential communities will be way too large. So we will gather groups on that same residential community. So some will be under trees, some will be at the clubhouse. And then we also have to see how that will be, because in some countries rain every day during rainy season. But that's another video, and you're welcome to check soon as possible if you are one of the 10 department directors. I really appreciate your attention, my friends, and I talk to you soon. Have a wonderful and blessed week, right, of good practices, so we can get everything done what's asked and needed. I really appreciate your attention and time, and I talk to you soon for all families and all department directors. Thank you. Okay, the other thing that I didn't say, it's for museums and any item related to religion, including everything we already said. So for the Vatican and for everyone else, including indigenous objects used, because many of those places are in different museums of the whole planet. Okay, all of them will be taken apart and sent to recycle. All of them. The Vatican gonna be completely clear up as well. All the paintings gonna be gone. All the stained glass gonna be gone, because that's the most sustainable for us. It makes no sense to keep people going to those museums to look and learn and search and study those objects from previous religions. We are really ending all previous religions. Okay? And for the Vatican walls and gates and everything else, we are also going to have the same way as every other religion, a proposal made by local people. Okay, that's very important. Everything from crowns to objects used in different centuries for all religions, they're going to be gone. Okay, it's very important to recycle everything. And what cannot be recycled, sent to trash, and they will be burnt out. These also include statues of any type, objects of any type. That's very important. Okay, so now we are going to say a few words about people that were not married because of their religious practice, religious beliefs. So those are nuns, right? Monks, the Pope himself, bishops, and everything else for different religions. So that's the guidance, how they're going to make the transition a positive and sustainable way. Okay, so let's say we have two groups of people. One group will be those that prefer to go home and meet with the families. Okay, so that's the first group. They have up to 24 hours after that lunch, after that 4 p.m. lunch, to go home. Take an airplane, go wherever they can, right? Or take a bus, or take a rental car if they still available, whichever they can to go back home. So they will be leaving first. They help to clean up the best as possible of their special locations, right? And then they will be going. And after that, it's up to 48 hours, those that want to go to another place, or because they don't have a family, or because they don't want to live close to their family. So this is another separate group. They have up to 48 hours to leave that location. And they will be cleaning up the very few items that will be left over for them to do it. Okay, those two groups will be called Group 1 and Group 2, just for us to be a little more specific. So for the people that will be going home, they will start, everyone actually, will be starting cleaning up everything the same way as the churches. Items to recycle, items to send to the trash, kitchen items leave alone, right? Not leave alone, sorry. Clean up what is needed and take out what's electric. The same way as for other buildings, people need to leave the location. All right. So these two groups gonna be working together, right? And the first thing, of course, is not cleaning up. The first thing is they have to make sure they have their travel ticket, right? Their travel vehicle to go home or to go to another location. Other location can be in the same country, another country, if they need passport or not, if it's before or after the organization, going to be different documentation they need. All right, so first they get their travel set up, organized, paid, or arranged in one way or another. All right, and then they have, they are going to start cleaning up their property. The cleanup will be done the same way, right? Objects to recycle, objects to trash, kitchen items, just clean up what cannot be used, such as electric items. And the rest, they can keep there until a decision is made. For everything else, will be the same. They're going to have a flyer sent to local preschool, schools, adult education, university. Everything else will be the same. They're gonna say closing of this convent. Put the name of the convent, name and address. Or gonna say closing of the monastery, and put the name and address, complete address. Okay? So in the same way, if it's close to a city or inside a city, people already organize with emails for those parents, gonna be sent that way. Otherwise, proper flyers need to be printed and sent to everyone that's local up to 2 kilometers away, or door by door, or given to these 4 educational sites. Sorry. Only given to these 4 educational sites and not done door by door. Okay, so we're gonna have the details, the 48 hours meeting, first meeting, right? And gonna have after the second meeting only with the interest and department directors. Okay, all right. And then with the assistant of the headquarters assistant team in the same way, for the transition moment, and also make sure that place it's completely remodeled for what is needed and people already living or studying there, and then they complete. So they need also the participation of the headquarters assistant team from the local county. Okay, all right. So the convent and monastery are going to be remodeled the same way, everything going to be done the same way, proper reports, as I said before, exactly on the same way. So those people that were not married, nuns, monks, popes, bishops, and everyone else, these are just for example, going to follow that same reports for monasteries, convent, and for everything else. Okay, so they're going to have, if they have a records book and board members or the highest level, they have their proper official notes, going to be done the same way. So the number 2 is for families that they will become families, so they have to start their new family records book anyways. If they're going to live close to their own families, or if they're starting their own family in a new complete place, they need the records book anyway. So For the 3 is for people that did not have official records. They have to do the 2 pages in English and 2 pages on their own language. And the number 4 is for the headquarters assistant team to also make a report about them. Okay? Because some of them will be saying about themselves, right? The reports, the people from convent, people from monastery. But it's also important for the headquarters assistant team to also write 2 pages about them in English and 2 pages exactly the same on their own language. Okay, so the first step was to figure out their way of traveling, right? Vehicle they will use. The second step is to clean up their location, the monastery, the convent, whichever it is. The third step is to travel and arrive at their location, right? Arrival. Okay, so the fourth step is to have up to 4 weeks to marry. Why is that? Because for everyone we are giving 2 weeks notice, right? But for them will be 4 because some of them live isolated for long time. And some of them were not even seeing people of their same gender, right? So it's important for people to have a little more time. And if needed, and if they ask, they can ask up to 8 weeks. That's okay, in respect to them, right? Because some, they put so much on their head, the practice they were having, that's not to marry and this and that. So it's important to give some time to people if they ask for more time. So it's 4 weeks for everyone, for sure. And if they want, they're going to send a letter. They are going to give a letter to the local city office. Because that will be private, but also register, okay? So they write this letter and ask for 4 more weeks. No more than 8 weeks, because that's really not needed. And for them to make an effort to write that letter and bring to the city office because they really need for one reason or another. On this letter, they do not have to put details, just their main feelings, like I need more time to find someone, or I need more time to gather my family first and then start meeting other people, okay? They can do that. They can also, for some places, they have some monastery that have the males and females. They can already leave the location because that's for them that have that opportunity to already leave the location with a best friend, the ones they like, right? Already choose there, because that will be good because they will have the same background practices and will be easier for them to get adjusted over time in society. But if they want to try something, completely new and meet the family first and then start meeting other people, that's okay as well. But no more than 8 weeks. And for everyone else that needs and find someone special in 8 weeks, they will join the organization website for singles and find someone on that area that is most the best person according to their previous practices. Okay, my friends, so this is the renovation information for everyone that were part of a religious practices of all countries. Thank you so much and have a blessed, wonderful life renovation for all of us. Talk to you soon, and let's start very positive, sustainable new families for all these people as well. And they can also, according to good and positive practice, they can also adopt children and teens, up to 8 of them, and renew life. Ask for a house and have live by their families, right? And if they want, but renew life. Thank you and talk to you soon. And of course, for everyone that's young, because we have many places that have even children, right? Such as the monks. So if they're young, they will need to go to their family up to 21 years old. And they can start a new family and really be married if they are 22 years old or older. All right, so now we got completed our handbook. Thank you for your attention. Talk to you soon. Okay, the other thing is that for every religion that do have a place where monks live and nuns and all those locations, they will do the cleanup of the place and the notice in the same way was done for regular churches. The same way. The document will be the same. Everyone gonna sign exactly the same. Needs to be at least 50% of the people that are living there of any age, right? And start in the same way with all leaders and then the disciples at the end. So at least 50% of them, okay? They will also have all these details that was said for regular churches to do, that big ladder. And they will also have 1 hour meeting, 2 hours lunch, 1 or 2 hours of cleanup, okay? And they have to complete by 4 p.m. of that day. All right, by 4 p.m. So they can start early in the morning because some places might have, a lot to be cleaned up. Okay, it won't be people from other that didn't come to the meeting because everyone lives right there. And yes, improvement for that. For places that people live at that property, everyone needs to sign, independent of age, because we have convents and we have monk sites and many other religious communities that sometimes people live with their family, some people live with their as a single. So we also have that communities in rural areas, in different places. So if they are together with a religion based, they have to do exactly those same steps, okay? And for people that do not have a religious base, but they are set up in a community or co-op, then it's something else. They're gonna follow the rules and guidelines as for everybody else as a residential community, okay? Even that they live in some other places. So some communities might have a lot of animals, such as the Amish and other communities. So if they have a few animals, they're going to contact the veterinarian nearby, or a person, a butcher that can kill and sell the meat or give the meat to people that eat that type of meat. Or if they want and they can bring the animals to the places they will be living. They have good practices, so they can stay at the community they are, because they don't drink alcohol, they don't smoke, unless they are very healthy and obese, then they have to move, but otherwise they can stay at that community as soon as they accept other people coming to live there as well, from different races, different ethnicity, right, and not be a religious base anymore. This is such as for the Amish, for example. And for communities like the Amish, and for other communities such as co-op, if they are religious based, they will follow everything the same way, all the guidelines the same way. If they are not religious, then they will follow instructions from regular communities, the regular cleanup and the proper new settings. If they are very small communities, they have to move according to what the organization volunteers will tell for them, because it's not worth it for us to have very small communities in the middle of nowhere. But if they are reasonable size and can receive more people, that location, for example, such as for some Amish locations, they can have the place as a new land and have schools there, preschools, adult education, university, and everything else, city office, right? And also a business plaza, and live together. So they will be receiving more families where they are already located. And the volunteers will be the ones deciding. The headquarters assistant teams, as I already mentioned, for religious beliefs, right? We already be indicating what's the best for all those communities of all types, of all religions. Okay, and for any other detail, you're gonna see at our website soon after the organization launching day. That will be a gift for all of us. Okay, my friends, let's renew life and have beautiful, united families. Thank you.